So I was talking to one of my clients a couple weeks ago. Gotta get the train. And we were talking about the message you're sending to the universe when you're afraid to invest in your business. And I don't mean invest in a program or a coach or a mentor, but investing in a team, because that's oftentimes what people are most afraid of is like how much it's going to cost. But even once you realize it's not that much, maybe like $300 or $400 a month, which most people think it's like 2,000 or more. It's still like the ongoing commitment, like you're committing to pay this person. And a lot of times people think, they're like relying on me. This is their only source of income. And while it's not their only source of income, like most of them have other clients or a full-time job, VAs, it's still a commitment. Like you're committing to pay them, and you're committing to your business being successful and being able to sustain it. And I know so many entrepreneurs are afraid to invest in that because they're like, well, what if next month they have a slow month and I can't afford to pay them? Or what if, things are really booming right now, but what if like in 6 months everything collapses, or I just have like a dry couple months, or like whatever, right? And I think when that happens, we're sending mixed signals to the universe. You're saying, I don't believe in my business enough. I don't believe it's going to sustain itself to even have an extra $300 a month, which is, if you're afraid of that, that's probably happened to you before, where you're like, okay, well, there's been a couple months in the past where I've been short, or, it's been like a stretch to pay my expenses and pay myself. And when you make that clear decision and investment and message to the universe that like, hey, I believe in myself, I believe in my business, I believe that no matter what, I will either be able to pay this person, or if maybe you need to lower hours 1 month, like, cool, what if normally they work 20 hours a month and then you have a slow period in your business, or you're like taking time off, you can go down to 10 hours a month. Like, you don't have to pay them the same thing. You don't have to have the same setup. It is so flexible. It is so, it's so fluid, and it gets to go up and down with your business, because that's what business is. And if you're hiring someone for the long haul, and you're hiring like that right-hand business bestie, like support person, they get that. And like, yeah, obviously they don't want their money slashed like every other month, like up, down, but they get it, and they're investing in like the idea of entrepreneurship. And honestly, like once you hire that help, it does tend to stabilize things. So if you are having a lot of up and down months, it's most likely because you're not able to focus on sales and marketing every month, because you're being pulled into admin or being pulled into design. Whereas once you hire this person, you're able to be more consistent with your marketing. Or maybe it's a social media person. So maybe you don't have time to focus on social media, and the only time you do is right before launch, which isn't great. When you hire that social media person, you're able to be more consistent and be talking about your offers all the time and be showing up for your community all the time. For example, a perfect example of this is my personal Instagram account. I took all last week off, the whole week, but my social media manager had a couple posts planned. So like, I'm still showing up on Instagram, still showing up in my different Facebook groups that me and her both wrote posts and scheduled for. So you're not disappearing like you normally would when you're taking time off, or when you're busy, or if you have a ton of sales calls and you're like, I can't do an Insta story today, like fuck that, I have sales calls, or I can't post or be in my Facebook group. Like, you can still be consistent with that once you hire that help, which stabilizes your revenue, which helps you pay them and be consistent. So a lot of it is like the math and the logic of it. Like when you hire help, you'll be more consistent, you'll have more time for sales, like all of that. But a lot of it is just like your energy and the message you're sending to the universe. Like, what are you saying when you aren't sure you'll be able to sustain an extra $300 a month to pay this person? Like, if you want your business to grow to consistent 5K months, consistent 10K months, consistent 50K months, but you're worried about not being able to spend $300 to $400 to $600 a month, depending on like where your business is at, like that doesn't make any sense. You can't say, yeah, I'm gonna have my first 10K month next month, and then also say, but just in case, I'm too afraid to pay this person. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's mixed messages, mixed signals, mixed energy, and like alignment. So yeah, I really want you to think about that. Like, if that's something that's coming up for you, what's the energy behind it? What are you really afraid of? And what are you really saying to yourself and to the universe about that decision? And if you are realizing that you're like, oh shit, like I need to be clear with what I want and like believe in my business and believe that everything will work out, but you're like, okay, but I don't know where to start. Like, just send me a message. I'll help you decide if you're ready, if it is the right time, or maybe you're putting it off because it's not the right time. That's possible too. I don't always say, yes, you need to hire. For sure, you're ready to hire. A lot of times I'm like, yeah, maybe you don't need to hire right now. Maybe you do need to wait a couple months, or maybe you need to hire, but it's not the person you think you need to hire. I talk to people a lot where they're like, I need a social media manager. I'm like, yes, but like first you need an executive assistant. You need a VA who can help you with your schedule. Or first you need a support coach so that you can have your clients be supported inside your programs. So sometimes it's not what you think, and sometimes maybe you are putting it off because you're not ready. And I'd love to help you figure out which one that is. So yeah, curious to hear what kind of message you've been sending and see if this resonates. So let me know, comment, send me a DM, and get ready for clear messages in 2020. Like, it's 2020 in 2 days. Everyone's talking about your intentions and your word and I feel like no one in the business world is talking about your resolutions, but like we all have big plans. So if you're saying you have a big plan for 2020, but you're too afraid to get support to get there, then that's a mixed message in itself. So if you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do my vision board, I'm gonna make this much money, I'm gonna go to Bali, I'm gonna travel and do digital nomad and all this shit, but you're too afraid to invest $300 to $400 a month in support, or to invest in someone like me to help you find the right person, find the systems, create the efficiency and automation and like all of that stuff. If you're too afraid to do that because you're afraid you won't even have an extra like money to invest in a mentor or money to invest in a VA or a team, your 2020 is never gonna be what you want it to be. It's just not. So that's all. Just wanted to come on and share that and keep doing videos while I have my tree in the background. Which will probably be longer than everyone else because I love my tree and I love Christmas. Like, it's still December. I just said it's January, but it's still December, so yay.